Hey everybody, how we doing tonight? Prepper Nurse One here. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to talk about the potential collapse of the dollar and what happens if the dollar collapses tonight. Okay, so it's going to be kind of speculative type of stuff, and what happens. It's a snowball effect of what happens after that with hyperinflation and everything else. So we will definitely be getting into that in just a second. But before we start, obviously, I like to say in the beginning of all my talks, very family friendly channel. So please keep it decent. If you do not, I have moderators that will boot you out. So keep that in mind and just be kind to each other. It's about being decent. So anyway, guys, hello everybody. I see everybody saying hi. So glad everybody's here so far, and we're going to get into this in just a minute. We'll give a chance for some more people to jump in before we get into topic. But I think it's interesting to think about and what are the alternatives once there's a dollar collapse. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to address with the dollar is basically the reason that the American dollar is so big because it's backed by oil and all that type of stuff. We're the main commodity with that. But I don't know if a lot of people knew that China and Russia are paying for their oil these days with gold. Now, a lot of people don't know that. I think it's very interesting information. Everybody's reliant on the dollar. If the dollar is not the standard anymore, what happens then? If countries all of a sudden become used to not basing everything on the American dollar, then we're going to have a problem because then it's what is its worth? And obviously, as we all know, it's backed by nothing. So the dollar is just a piece of paper. And just because they say it has value, that's why it has value. If it comes to a point where it's devalued and people are not using the American dollar as the main source anymore, then that's where the issues come in. And, we just passed, I don't know if a lot of you knew this or not, but we just passed $22 trillion in debt. There is no way that we could ever get out from under that. And, so that's something to think about as well. So at some point in the future here, guys, we are going to have a dollar collapse. So what happens? What happens when that dollar collapses? Okay, well, obviously, hyperinflation will take over. Everything will cost a tremendous amount of money. If the dollar is worth nothing, then what ends up happening is, we'll go back to a different system. So what system would we go back to? A lot of it would be bartering at that point. Okay, so this is getting into kind of something that I've talked about before. When that dollar is devalued and it's not worth squat anymore, what's a commodity? Your skills, what you have to trade. If you have skills that you can trade, if you have commodities that you can be worth something to somebody else. So bartering is going to be a huge, huge thing after a fall of the dollar. And people are going to go back to that. And I'm going to tell you what, I live out in the country, and out here, you're looking at a lot of people do a lot of bartering. So, if I go to my neighbor and I say, hey, I need a hand with this, that, or the other thing, then, we'll work together to, make that work. So I'll trade something to him. He gives me something back. And so we do that a lot out here in the country because it's a better way of doing it. And it works out better. But if you have nothing of value to trade, be it a skill or be it commodities, what are you going to do? What is your game plan? So there's something that I want you guys to sit down. I want you to think about that, okay? So, these things are really, really important that, people don't think about because they just think that nothing is ever going to change. Everything is always going to be the same. But the reality is throughout history, everything changes. Nothing stays the same. So those are things that, people don't take into consideration, that there is going to be change. Things are going to change, always does. Nothing is going to ever be the same forever. So back in the day, back in my grandparents' generation, a lot of people had skills. They had a lot of things that they could offer in a barter type of situation. These days, people don't. They just don't. So if you don't have any of those type of skills, or you don't have commodities, meaning you don't have things put back, you don't have goods to be able to trade, you need to think about those things. If there was a U.S. collapse, the rest of the world will go with it. Count on it. Robert Blakemore just said, and I agree with you, Robert, because we basically are propping up pretty much a lot of the world right now with what we're doing and stuff like that. But when you have places like Russia and China are getting away from that dollar, there's an issue with that. There's definitely an issue with that. So that's something that I want you to think about. You know what I mean? It's really, there's a lot that goes with it. And a lot of people, they think, well, I'll just get this together and that together and I'll be ready for whatever. There's a lot more to it. So making yourself valuable, like I said, think about this. After SHTF happens, who knows how to make shoes? There's not a lot of shoemakers out there, guys. So, I mean, that would be one thing, or work with leather, to make belts and buckles and harnesses and those type of things. Again, those are going to be skills that are going to be really, really important. Okay. How to, with axes and those type of stuff, making tools, blacksmiths, those type of people are going to be in very, very high demand, and they're going to be people that are going to be very much sought after, because they have something that's a skill that people are going to need, because they're going to need to have different things to be able to function. Clothing, Regina just said, exactly. So knowing how to make clothes, somebody knows how to sew, somebody knows how to repair clothing. Again, these are things that if you don't know how to do those things, they're nice skills to have. I can decorate leather. Can that count? Yeah, that could definitely help. Absolutely. But again, it's like you have to be able to put yourself in a position. Prostitution from one day till the end. Yeah, you know what? That's always going to be there. That's something that's always, and people will trade that. That is a tradable good. May sound terrible, but it is absolutely a tradable good. So anyway, guys, I do want to ask you, I did it the other night, and just for fun, I want to see how many thumbs up we can get. We ended up with 651 thumbs up from Sunday's show. I don't know if we'll hit that tonight, but let's try to, if we can make it happen, just try to bump that up as much as we possibly can, just for fun. It's just a game to see how high we can get the thumbs up before the show's over. But anyway, getting back on topic, with the dollar and the way things are going, and we are so far in debt, there's going to be a point where it's not obtainable anymore. It's not going to, and there's going to be a downfall. It's a matter of time. We can't continue to do what we've been doing and expect for things to get better. They're not. They're only going to get worse. So once that dollar collapses, we all need to have some kind of a plan, for after that. Now, and I'm not just talking bugging out or bugging in. Again, you need to have because here's the thing. Once an event happens, there's going to be an end of that event. Okay? Then we all have to live. So what are you bringing to the table that is going to help you to survive what is coming? Now, I being a nurse, I have a very usable skill, no matter if things are good or if they're bad or whatever. So I'm lucky in that aspect. Okay. Because, master gardeners, guys, people that know how to, process meat, know how to cure meat, those type of things. Those type of people too are going to be people that are beekeepers. Okay, there is a skill to that. It's not just something that you go, well, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. You have to learn how to do that, and you learn from people that know what they're doing. So Robert just said nurses will be doctors after SHTF, and I agree with you 100% on that, Robert. I talked about that many, many times in videos in the past, saying that once SHTF happens, you're no longer the nurse, you're the doctor, because there's not going to be a tremendous amount of people out there offering that skill. So whatever skills that you have, you are going to basically have to step up. And but again, it's like knowing how to do different things. Think about this. What would be, and this may sound silly, but what would be something that would be really truly valuable after an SHTF situation? How about somebody that can cook? Somebody that really knows how to cook. And I'm not just talking, making grilled cheese. I'm talking about somebody that knows how to take what you have and put it together and really give you a good meal. Having that is going to be a psychological boost to a lot of people. So if you can have people, if we can, get those people to help people like that, that again, that's a skill that's going to be really, really awesome. A seamstress, you think of things that a lot of times that right now that people don't think are important. They're going to be hugely important, hugely important. So cook soul food since the 70s, tubular guy just said. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So here's another great one. Regina Morgan just said, a dentist. A dentist is going to be in high demand after SHTF. He's going to be very much sought after because people are still going to have problems with their teeth. And they'll probably actually have more problems with their teeth in a post-event because they're not going to be able to have that proper hygiene like they're always used to. Now, some people will because they've prepared for that, okay? But a lot of people are not going to be. So those are things I want you guys to think about too. These things they're all intertwined, okay? So it's like if we can make ourselves more sellable, I guess is the right word. Make yourself more sellable after an event. What skills do you have? What are you bringing to the table? What do you know how to do? Now, obviously, ex-military, policemen, because they have that mindset. They know how to deal with those type of situations. Your combat veterans, they're going to be in higher demand because they've seen the crap. They know what's going on, and they know how to deal with a lot of those type of situations. So again, you have to put yourself in that position and think, okay, what do I have? What can I do? What's going to be a good thing? And if you don't have any kind of skills right now, let's say you have none. You have nothing that you could bring to the table. You have no experience with any of these type of things. Learn. Pick something. Pick one thing to start out with and learn how to do it, okay? And then after you learn how to do that one thing, now you pick something else and learn how to do it. Again, what I would suggest for most people starting out, know your wild edibles. Food is going to be a huge, huge problem in a post-event, okay? We're not going to have the trucks running down the highways anymore, guys. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to be able to get out there, identify what is edible, what is not edible, what is poisonous, what is not poisonous, and like I said again, and then you're going to need to know your medical plants. What are plants that I can use that can help people? Those are all also. It's going to be hugely, hugely something that's going to be really going to endear yourself, to somebody. Animal husbandry, okay. Knowing how to deal with horses and cows and pigs and chickens and goats and those type of things, and knowing what you need to do and what's going to work and what's going to not going to work. Those are something that's going to be very, very valuable in a post event. So learning those things now. So Russell Grant just said machinist, electrician, welder, construction, oil field lease operators. Yeah, heavy equipment operator. Yes to all of those. Especially your carpenters, your plumbers, your electricians. They're going to be in high demand to be able to figure things out after an SHTF event. And depending on what it would be, we're gonna have to rebuild. I mean, once the event happens, once it's done, then we have to move on with our lives from that point. So we have to look at what is going to be the thing that's going to help us survive for that next generation. Here's the other thing I want you to think about, guys. Education for our young, to make sure they know how to read and write so they can see the history, see what happened, have that history written down by somebody, okay, and know to be able to say, look, here's where we screwed up this time. We did this, and this wrong. Don't do this again. Because history has a big time way of repeating itself. So if we can put that information out there teaching these kids, this next generation, once an SHTF event happens, to read and write. Get back to the basics of what's really, really important. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Those are going to be your biggest things right there. So, knowing how to do those type of things, and have that on there. So, it's really, really important. I think, a lot of people don't think about that. They really don't. Yeah, like Tom, I just said, teachers. You got to have somebody that's going to teach that history. And Robert said I was a history major in school. That will be PC and PC repair. Well, there you go. But again, those type of people are going to be realistically invaluable. So it's a combination of things that is going to help with what is going to happen after a major event that would affect everybody in the world. There is a lot to it. A lot of people don't think about all these other external stuff, but once the event happens, once everything calms back down, now we got to rebuild. We need to have those people with those skill sets to rebuild. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, I love having electricity, okay? And anybody that knows my channel and watches my channel knows that I live off grid, that I have my own solar system, and that's how I produce my power. In a post-event, depending on what that event would be, I want to have power again. I want to make, or either I still have power, or I want to make sure it continues, or know how to help people to create power after that event. Even if it comes down to, doing turbines and, water wheels and those type of things. All these things are important that we're going to need to know how to set those up to get power to help, put things back as normal as it possibly can be. Okay. And that's moving forward and continuing on with civilization. But you're going to have people that know how to do different things. Books and having that knowledge, guys, that's huge as well. I want you to think about that, okay? I talk about books all the time, but knowledge is power. So if you have books on construction, if you have books on medicine, if you have books on first aid, if you have books on, just a whole myriad of different things, that knowledge and that's going to be very, very powerful after an event happens. So knowing how to rebuild civilization afterwards is going to help. And again, who knows, what the event's going to be, how bad it's going to be. There's any way, there's any number of ways things can, go bad after an event. And so if we don't have that education to teach people, this is what happened and why we're doomed to repeat those, in our history. And that's not a good thing. Yes, Robert just said old encyclopedias. There's a lot of stuff, guys, now. I've been down to the local library here in town, and they really don't have squat anymore. They really don't. And it's kind of sad because when I was a kid, you'd go into a library and it was just a tremendous amount of books there. But everything is online. Everything is right there. Everything is at your fingertips now. So people don't utilize libraries like they used to, before. The Lost Ways, great book. Chris Culp just said that. That's a great book to have. I would definitely highly, highly recommend anybody to get that book. It's definitely one that's going to help you, in that event. Again, anything that you can add that's going to help you yourself in learning how to do stuff, it's going to be so, so important after an event. Because like I said, eventually, whatever the event is going to be, it's going to come to an end. And then we have to live. Then we have to survive. So, getting with the right group of people that have a different variety of skill sets, and then cross-train, that's going to be important as well. Training with people that, know how to do different things. And like if you have an apprentice, or not, if you have a blacksmith, man, you get like 3 or 4 people working with him and they become his apprentices, and they need to learn because, there's that old saying, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Well, if you don't have somebody learning how to do something from that blacksmith, then you have no blacksmith. But if you have, a couple of guys that know how to, have learned from that blacksmith and know what they're doing, then you have not just one blacksmith, now you have 3. So if something happens to somebody, then you have somebody to replace them. It's with anything. I would take people under my wing and teach them medicine and how to deal with sick people and those type of things. Okay. Your electricians, your carpenters, same thing. You're going to have to cross train. Everybody's going to need to know how to do those different things. really, really important. If you got one guy that knows how to properly cut down trees, just an example, you got one guy that knows how to properly cut down trees, and I'm going to use Greg as a great example of that. That dude is unbelievable with trees, okay? What happens when he dies if he hasn't taught anybody else how to do that? That skill is lost. So, learning, putting practical practice, I love that term. It's a great term. Learning how to do things and putting it into practice is really, really important, guys. So, just reading how to do something is good, but actually doing it, knowing how to do it, figuring out, okay, I did this wrong this time, I need to correct that, and I need to go into something different. That's going to be definitely really, really good. Oh, Wolfgang would like to, still like to know how to do stitches. You know what? I will get to that, guys. I promise you. At some point down the road here, I've been freaking going crazy doing a lot of different things, but I definitely will do something on that as far as a medical video, how to do stitches and stuff like that. I promise you, we will definitely get into that. Okay. I'm not going to say when, but it will happen. There's a lot of things I want to go over, and but like I said, right now I've been trying to, while the weather's been decent, try to get things done before it gets so oppressively hot that you don't even want to go outside. So, but I will definitely get to that, Wolfgang, I promise you. Let's see. Everyone needs gas masks for just in case. I agree with you, Ronnie. Ronnie just said that. It's very important. We should all have gas masks. I have them here. I have, I think, like 5 on hand, because at one point, 3 adult masks and 2 child masks is what I have, because we had, with the kids and stuff like that when they were little, we had the child masks for that. So, and then we had an adult for myself, for my ex-wife, and then for my stepson. So, but, obviously she doesn't get to use hers anymore. So, but, it's, yeah, I see that, Sue, too. I saw that. Unbelievable. It's just a game. Just a game. Yeah, better do it quick before there's no more internet. Oh, I hear you. There's so much going on. It's crazy the way that the world is going right now. There's a lot of, I've told you guys before, it's just like I said, it's a gut feeling. I think bad things are on the way. And so I've been trying to really get things squared away here at the homestead, because I just I don't want to say that I'm scared, because I'm not scared. I'm not really scared, but I'm concerned. And I want to have myself positioned where when something happens, I don't an example is getting the wood squared away. Okay. Now the wood is squared away. I'm ready for winter for wood. And it's, in the middle of June here. The reason that I really was focused on that, because I didn't want to wait till November and go, okay, I'm going to do my wood all in November, and then have something happen. And now we're scrambling. Now we're trying to figure out how we're going to do that wood. Getting things taken care of, getting things squared away ahead of time is really, really important if you can. And so those are things that I want you, and that's kind of why I've really been just trying to jam things and get things going. So, there's, you look at even with YouTube, guys. I mean, you look at, they got AI going through everything, and they're screwing with everybody's channels and like my channel as well. And they're, taking away subscribers all the time. I mean, literally for a month, I've been hovering just above, just below, just above, just below 73,000 subscribers. I had somebody say, I wanted to say congratulations for hitting 73,000, but when I get over it, then they take them all away again. And that's the AI's doing that, okay? That's what's happening with that. It's just, it's crazy stuff. So, I mean, if you guys have been unsubscribed, here's what I want you to do, actually. If you've been unsubscribed and it wasn't you that did it, or if your bell notifications have been turned off when you didn't do it, okay? If those things are happening to you, let's start writing to YouTube. Let's start sending out emails, because I have an email address. Let's start doing that and just hammering them with a ton of emails and saying, hey, you unsubscribe me to whatever channel. Not necessarily just has to be mine, but whatever channels that you guys have been unsubscribed to, put it out there. Let them know. Say, I'm sick of this. Why are you doing this? Why is this going on? So that's I've been had to subscribe about 4 times. Simple Gal just said, yeah, I mean, and that's ridiculous that they're doing that to you. I mean, if you don't want to be unsubscribed, you shouldn't have to be unsubscribed. I mean, it's just craziness that they're doing that. So that's one way of getting them. If we all start hammering them with emails, they won't like that. So maybe they'll actually do something about it. But that's all AI. That's all. They got all these programs out there doing this type of stuff, and and they're screwing with people, and it's not a cool thing at all. If you haven't yet, guys, if you give me that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to do it tonight, but we had 653 thumbs up in the last show that I did on Sunday. So if we could get that higher today, that would be cool. Let's just see what we can do with that. Just more for fun. I like to see how high we can get it. So I would appreciate it if you haven't done it yet. Give me a thumbs up there. Somebody's being, yeah, guys, listen. And JJ just said, please be respectful with your post. Again, guys, we are family friendly, so let's try to keep it that way. I don't like people coming on my show and slamming another channel. If you like a channel or don't like a channel, that is absolutely your prerogative, and I'm not going to tell you what you should or should not like. But I would respectfully ask you not to come onto my show and slam somebody's other channel, because if you guys really knew the amount of work that goes into doing this whole thing, and the amount of hate that we deal with is YouTube providers, especially like you got some of these guys got huge channels. The amount of hate that they get is ridiculous. I get my fair share, trust me, but I'm not going to feed into that. You know what I mean? It's just you just realize you consider the source, and then you have to that's what the block and delete button is for. But unfortunately, that is going to happen. Oh, it's 541. Jenna says, okay, so no, that was we had 520 something, and then we hit 653 in the last show with thumbs up. So that's where we were at on the last show. So, but like I said, guys, everybody has a different taste. Some channels some people really like me, and some people really hate me, and that is their prerogative. You know what I mean? And whatever, if they don't, but my thing is, if they don't like me, then why do they watch? Which I don't understand that at all. And literally, I'll be honest with you, there's channels out there that I don't watch because I don't care for that. You know what I mean? For the person, I don't like the way they talk. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they do things or whatever. I don't watch their channel, but I'm not going to get on here and bash anybody's channel. I won't do it. Even if I don't like them, I won't do it, because it's completely unnecessary. You know what I mean? So you guys, I got to tell you what, my group of people that follow me, for the most part, you guys are absolutely awesome. And I love that about you guys. You really guys are awesome, so, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys watching and being supportive and stuff like that. It really, believe it, it means a lot to me. Like I said, I can't get in and answer every question when somebody makes a comment. I can't do it. But I do get in and I do read every comment. I go through them and I try to answer here and there. I just, time-wise, I'm trying to get other things done too. Okay, so it's not like I have 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day to just sit down and answer everybody's comment. I would love to. I tried to do it as long as I possibly could, but there's just no way. There's just no way that you can. Simple Gail said she's been subscribed since 10K. That's cool. I appreciate that. That's awesome. So almost 2 years then, because it was, but it's, guys, it's just, when I say to you guys, we're a family. We're this huge family, and we can make such a difference in people's lives that we haven't even met yet. And I want you to think about that, okay? We are this big family. We're preppers. We're off-gridders. We're people that think differently than everybody else. But once an SHTF event happens, and once everything changes, we are the people, guys, that are going to make a difference. We are the people that are going to be able to help different people and put people in a better situation. Here, the biggest thing, think about this. The biggest thing that is going to be lacking after an SHTF event. Now, some of you may laugh at me about this, but this is how I feel. The biggest thing that's going to be lacking after an SHTF event is going to be hope. If you have no hope, if you don't think that, oh my God, how am I going to make it through this? Okay. If you have some kind of a hope and you have a chance, that's going to make the difference how hard you fight as a human being. Okay. So Ed will buy everyone a green tea. Right. You know what? And actually, JJ, I don't have green tea tonight. All I have is Gatorade. So I apologize. I said that just before I went live. I said to my daughter, I said, oh my God, I don't even have any green tea in the house. So, but I will get some for Friday. I promise. But guys, you know what? If we have hope, there's a chance we can survive what's coming. And to be able to be in a position, and not just me, all of us, to offer that hope to people, I think that that's going to be a huge, huge thing. And it's going to make a difference in all of us, no matter what part of the country, no matter what part of the world we're in. If we can offer that hope to people, it's going to make a difference. And think about the good karma that comes with that. You know what I mean? Think about the great things that, that you can, how good that's going to make you feel to be able to say, hey, you know what? I couldn't do a ton, but at least I was able to help these people, or I was able to, bring these people in and we were able to help them. That's a good feeling. And the better we can do, that's great, and it's important, No Arizona's tonight. I will get some for Friday. I've been busy. I haven't even been leaving the property. I've just been working on stuff around here. And so, like I said, I was helping my neighbor this morning with a project that he needed work on. So we were doing that. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get this freaking fencing in because I want to let my chickens out. So was working on that today with Heather. So, but I got to brew my own. Yeah, that's true. I could do that too. Hey, Tyler M. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. He said, just stopping by to say, love your channel. You're the best. Thanks for teaching me in more than school. You're welcome. I mean, that's, and that's the thing, guys. We can all learn from each other. And that's another thing that's really, really cool. I love that part. I don't know everything. I don't claim to pretend I know everything. Since I've moved off grid, my life has changed. I mean, and I've learned a lot. I learned what works, what doesn't work. And that's the important thing, too, that I want you guys to take and think about. Figuring out what works and what doesn't work now before SHTF happens is really, really important, because after SHTF happens and you think that something is going to go the way that you planned it to go, and if it doesn't, that can be life or death. So experiment, practice, learn how to do. Yeah, but
I'm going to go out and take a nap.
Okay, go ahead, honey. So, but learning how to do things. It's just like with my solar, guys. I started out with a 12-volt system, figured, okay, I'm going to be great. Everything's going to be cool. And it wasn't. And it didn't work. And it wasn't enough. And so we had to change everything. And I was very fortunate. Bill and Rosa from Bill and Rosa Off Grid, I spoke with him. He gave me some tremendous advice, and really got me steered on the right path. And so that's a big difference too. And that's what I also love, the fact that the willingness of people in this community, the off-grid community, the prepping community, to reach out to each other and help. And, and I mean now, while things are not a dire strait. So, that's cool too. And I try to do that as much as I possibly can. If somebody has a question or wants advice, I love doing that, and believe it or not, I like to talk. I know it's hard to believe. I'm being sarcastic when I say that, but, to talk to people and to try to help people out, that I think that's important. I think we should all be doing that. You know what I mean? So it's, and the younger people too, teaching them skills, like I told, me and Heather were talking today, and I was saying, when you go on with your life here and you go to school and then whatever you do after school. And I said, if you decide to live this lifestyle or not live this lifestyle, you will always have that experience of this lifestyle. So that's always going to be there. So she's going to have skills that other people are not going to have. She's got experiences that other people never have experienced in her life. And I think that that's really, really cool, and that she's able to do that. I was actually talking to today, she's going to a concert on Friday with a friend of hers and the mother. So I said, well, I got to talk to the mother first, because I always got to feel everybody out. You're taking my kid and going to go do something. I got to know who you are. But just the feel that I got from talking to her, really, really nice lady. They sound like very decent people. And so, but, we were talking, I told her, that I live off grid, and she's like, oh my God, that is so cool, and so, it's just, we were, having a great conversation, but I could tell she was a decent person. So I have no trepidations of my daughter going to this concert with her and her daughter. So they're going to have a good time. What should I tell my wife to let her know it's time to start taking prepping a bit more seriously? Show her what's going on around the world. Show her what's happened in different countries where there have been sieges in cities, and what the people had to do to survive those type of things. Give her that hard reality. That would be my advice. Saying something is not always going to be enough, but visualizing something and seeing things in black and white. This is what happened to these people. Like if you go over, if you like in Croatia and all that type of stuff, where they were having the sieges and that type of stuff, even Venezuela, exactly. Show her the videos. Show her what's going on in different parts of the world and what people are having to do to survive. That's a motivator for most people, or it should be. People, it's out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see it, I don't have to think about it, so I'm not going to worry about it. That happens a lot. But if you are in a situation where you can show them, this is what happened to these people, then it gives people a different perspective of how they need to be looking at their own lives and what they should be doing to prepare to be ready. So I think that's important. Only silver bars and barter items will have real value after SHTF situation. I agree with you, Joe M. And again, in skills, absolutely, skills are going to be important. Yeah, we can't store enough food. Absolutely can't, because the thing is, guys, the whole idea of prepping and having food stuffs and those stuffs back is to get you through until you can be more self-sufficient with gardening, with fishing, if that's available to you, with hunting and processing meat and stuff like that. But again, and I've talked about this, I really feel that the woods would be hunted dry very, very quickly in an SHTF situation. So, I mean, if you can get a hold of cows and be able to process the cows and to dry that meat or jerk that meat and, be able to put it in like an underground freezer type of area so that you have that, that is going to be something that is going to be hugely, hugely valuable, knowing those skills, because you're going to have people, and I'm not kidding when I say this, they're going to go out there and they're going to shoot a cow. They're going to take a little bit of meat off that cow for what their immediate needs are, not knowing how to truly process that cow, and they're going to leave the rest of that cow to rot. Those things are going to happen because people don't have the skills. So, if you can get with people that know how to do those type of things, your chances of survival are going to greatly increase. So again, put yourself in a good situation with like-minded people if you can, and if you can't, make yourself as valuable as you possibly can by diversifying your skill set so that you can make yourself a valuable commodity once an SHTF situation happens. Guys, if you haven't yet, again, please shoot me a thumbs up. I don't think we're going to make our record tonight because we hit 653, I think, on Sunday. But let's see how close we can get it up there. So if you haven't given me a thumbs up yet, please do. I appreciate that. Regina Morgan just said garden inside. Yeah, being able to garden like that, if you can do greenhouses, guys, it extends your season so much, and it's more of a controlled environment, which is going to be better, for your crops. Like if you live in a desert, if you're in Arizona, a lot of times what they do there, they go down underground and they put part of that greenhouse underground. That's a great thing to do if you live in that type of a climate. If you are in a climate that, like where I'm at, and with the cold, we'd never know how long it's going to last, or when our weather's going to change to having warmer weather. If you can start that greenhouse earlier on and keep that greenhouse warm, be it geothermal or by heat of some sort, you can start your garden way, way early, and and realistically almost grow year round with kale and those type of things that are more of a hardy cold weather crop. But if you have geothermal in your greenhouse and you can keep that greenhouse at like 58 degrees no matter what the temperature is outside, that's going to make a huge difference. And again, learning those skills, learning what to do. Microgreens, indoor kitchens. Yeah, absolutely. It's another way that absolutely you can do it. Want to know what SHTF would be like? Go listen to the EMP series by Biz Jizariza. Yeah, I mean that's a great series. When he was doing that series, I was listening to that series myself, and I actually know him. I've met him. He's a good dude. And but again, those are things. It's going to be bad. So think of your worst nightmare and then times it by 10. That's what SHTF is going to be like. Okay, unless you have put yourself in a position with the right people. And like I said, make yourself a valuable commodity where if you are overcome by, let's say, a group of people, or somebody has another group and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You say, listen, guys, hold on a second. I have these skills that can help your group. You make yourself valuable. You make yourself somebody that they're not going to put on the front lines to get killed off, because you have skill sets that they're going to need to survive. I don't care what kind of group it is, if it's a good group or if it's a bad group, they're going to need skilled people to help them to continue to carry on. So hopefully, obviously, we're going to be in good groups, but, planning ahead and doing things now in preparation is going to make all the difference in the world. It really, really, truly will. What do we got here? Okay, questions in cap locks, guys. The panic is going to be bad enough. You know what? That's actually great that you said that, because you're right. Like I said, the most dangerous person in the planet, the most dangerous person, guys, and I've talked about this before, but thank you for bringing that up, Ronnie. The most dangerous person is somebody who is desperate and scared. So again, that can be in panic mode. Okay, they're panicking, they're scared, they're desperate, they don't know what to do. They're not thinking clearly, and we don't want to be that person. We want to be the person that is calm, that is rational. No, don't get me wrong. Inside, in an SHTF event, all of us are going to be like this with the knots. But if you are prepared physically, mentally, with supplies, and have a game plan and those type of things, your stress level is not going to be anywhere near somebody's stress level that is unprepared completely. So again, what you want to do is you want to put yourself as scared and hungry. Exactly. When that goes right down to desperation. So those are the people that are going to be the most dangerous. And I don't care who they are. That's going to be the people, and that's going to be a lot of the people, guys. A lot of people are going to be desperate. They're going to be scared. They're going to be panicked, not know what to do, not have any guidance. They don't know where to go, where to turn. And, you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to be able to function or survive that type of situation because they're going to give up. They're going to quit. So all of us out here, us preppers from all over the country, all over the place, that's not us. We have a game plan, hopefully. We are prepared, hopefully. We know what we plan on doing once that SHTF, You still walking? I actually haven't been, Jenna, lately, because I've actually been just doing so much around here, but I do plan on walking more. I want to try to get out at least 3 days a week and walk, so I do plan on doing that. I have just been very, very busy. Like this last 2 weeks, I've been crazy busy. But I do plan on getting out walking again. I actually was enjoying it very much. So I definitely will plan. I might do it tomorrow because actually tomorrow's supposed to rain. So there's not a whole lot that I can do around the homestead if it's raining. So I could probably go out for a nice walk even if it's raining. So I might do that tomorrow. I actually got rain gear too, so I'll be all right with that. But yeah, solar lights are great to have. They have those lights, guys. You can pick them up at the dollar store that they use for paths and stuff like that. That can be used for a lot of different things. Like, and again, I'm going to actually contact this company, but these lights here that were sent to me, I'm going to turn that. Hold on. I mean, you can see the brightness of that. Okay, it's crazy bright, and it's a solar light. And basically, we set it outside, set it in the sun, and then bring it in, and it's great light source. And I'm going to be contacting that company, and hopefully I can make some kind of arrangement with them where I can have those type of lights available on my website because they are awesome, absolutely awesome. And the person that sent them to me, she knows who she is. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Do I plan on getting another nursing job? Sam just asked that. Absolutely not, Sam. I have no desire. I got 30 years in the business. I burned out. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people burn out way before that, but I just got to a point where I loved working with my residents, hated dealing with management. I am not the type of person. I'm not a yes man, and so I will always buck the system. And so I have a tendency to piss people off because I say it like it is, and they don't like that. And they're used to people kissing their behinds, and that has just never been me. So, no, I actually do not plan on going back to work as a nurse. Now, if I had to, if I was in a desperate situation, I probably would. But if I can not do it, I won't. Because it's like, I love what I'm doing now. I love being able to get out here and work and get things done, and and do that. And it's hard work too. Don't get me wrong, but it's very rewarding. And like I said, I enjoy doing that. Yeah, nursing is hard work. You are absolutely right. Yeah, there's a lot of plants, guys, that you can actually plant that are going to that mosquitoes don't like, and those type of things as well. So you have to look at the different plants and see what would be a good plant to plant in your vicinity that's going to help repeal the bugs and stuff like that. They're not going to want to be there. Thoughts on the pharmaceutical industry? Are they prepping CBD or other? The pharmaceutical company. I've done quite a bit of talks on the pharmaceutical company, but CBD oil I liked. I've actually used it myself. I think it's really, really good. Kratom is also out there, and that's available as well as an alternative. And so, there's other alternatives. Even they have the different plants that if you break that down, there is a pain-killing property to it that is just as good as morphine, does just as well as morphine, but doesn't have the addictive personality of that. So, that's really, really good as well. Let's see. Hey, there he is. Bizajizarizza. How you doing, man? Yeah, you got to start that series back up. We were just talking about that earlier in the chat. You got to bring that series back, man, and keep that going. That was fun. I enjoyed listening to that. I really did. So, but let's see. Have you tested the time limit for your solar light? You know what, James? They actually last a long, long time. I've never really gone and said, okay, I'm going to use it till it doesn't work anymore, because I'm always taking it back outside and just kicking it back in the sun again. It's but they will do very, very well. You get a couple days out of one charge, at least, I think. Because like I said, with mine, what I would do is I would, read at night, and I would use that lamp to read, and it worked really, really well. Let's see. Yeah, after SHTF, the pharmaceutical companies are definitely not going to be there to help us, guys. So we need to know your wild plants that are medicinal plants, and that's going to help, plan as much as you possibly can. Prepare, like like I said, in like with antibiotics, I've talked about that quite a bit. I've talked about different things. So it's all it's all up to what you want to do and how you want to do it. And there is a huge learning curve, a huge learning curve. But if you work at things methodically, and I talk about that, work at things methodically, you start banging things off your list, and things get better. And you can. Oh, you know what? I know somebody said, "What's natural repellent for ants?" I think, if I'm not mistaken, if you have an area that you don't want ants to be in, and I might be wrong on this, but I remember, I think it's salt. If you put salt, I think it was salt. Was it salt? Borax. Somebody just said borax. Yeah, it's salt. Some people are saying salt too. But if you put a line like that, they won't cross over that and stuff like that. So, that's one way to do with ants. Sugar and borax, somebody else just said. Mix them together. But anyway, guys, I did want to mention the Prepper Nurse One community on my website, preprehearseone.com. We have the Prepper Nurse One community, where it's a community of like-minded people from all over the world, that can connect and talk with each other. And, the message boards are blowing up all the time over there on the website. So you have to register to be able to see anything on that part of the website. And but it's a great place to meet like-minded people. If you're trying to form a group, just make connections, even loose affiliations. It's a great place to do it. You register, you go into whatever state you're in or whatever country, and then you can do it that way. And it's a great way to connect. Again, the more places that we have to meet and talk with like-minded people, the better off we are. You know what I mean? So, but that's important. You got one of the cats scratching at the door, wanting to go out. He's gonna have to wait. So, what will I do in SHTF if a lot of desperate people show up at my homestead? You know what, David? That's a good question. Where I am located, I located myself very strategically. I'm up in the hills. Most people are not going to go up. They're not going to do that. They're going to follow that path of least resistance. We are tucked in pretty good, so you could not see my place from the main road. And the main road is a side road off of a side road. So we're not near any really super high traffic areas. Literally, when I go out for my walk, depending on what point of the day it is, if I see 3 or 4 cars, that's a lot. And that's me walking like 2 miles one way and then 2 miles back. Again, it depends on the day. The one road has a little bit more traffic because of the farm. But other than that, there's not a lot of traffic. Like, I could walk up my road here to the road that connects, and that's a side road. And that road has very, very little traffic. I mean, if I see 1 or 2 cars, that's a lot. So on that road. But then I get on the other road, and that's just another side road. But it's more because of the farm; they get more traffic. But let's see. Yeah. Brian's been up here. Yep. Yeah, it's been a while too. Actually, Brian, give me a call, man. And if you don't have my number anymore, shoot me an email. Give me your number, preprehearseone@yahoo.com. Give me your number again. We need to talk. So do that. So, but anyway, guys, again, if you haven't given a thumbs up yet, I would appreciate if you would do that. Just to see what we can get the number up to here before the show is over. All right, cool. Definitely looking forward to hearing from you again, man. There's a lot going on, and I want to talk to you. So, but if you haven't given me a thumbs up yet, guys, please do so. We'll just see what the number ends up being tonight. We're obviously not going to beat the record, but that's okay. As long as we get it up to a nice number before, the show is over, that'll be awesome. Hey, BBQ Trucker, how you doing tonight? But anyway, we're talking about, where I'm located. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of traffic up here, because before you ever got to my place, there's a lot of people that would stop you in an SHTF situation that live up in this area. So I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of traffic. not right away, to be honest with you. Down the road, if you have organized groups, you might see people then, but hopefully by that point you have your group together and you're working with your neighbors. Up here, I believe that a lot of people will work together just for survival reasons, and because it's like most people up here, a lot of people have wood stoves, a lot of people have their own wells, and those type of things, or springs up in this area. So, I think you're going to see a lot of that up here, where people will work together, because I am so far out in the country. Like I said, the people that you realistically, no matter where you are, guys, no matter where you are, if you're in a city, if you're in suburbia, if you're in the country, the people that you're going to have to worry about the most in a post-event are your neighbors. That is going to be your biggest obstacle in a post-event. Now, I will say that in the country, people are a lot more friendly. They're more neighborly, if you will, and people have a tendency to help each other out more. So I think you're going to see where I'm at out here, and this is just my belief, okay? I think you're going to see people willing to work together more. You're not going to see that as much in the city. You're not going to see that as much in suburbia. I have lived in the city. I have lived in suburbia. There were people that you saw, you waved, and that was it. Other people wouldn't even look at you. They would just go into their houses and stuff like that. Those type of people, they're in deep doo-doo when something happens, okay? So you're realistically, the connections that you make with people are going to make a difference of how you do in an SHTF event. And if you're in suburbia and you have a game plan and you have a place that you can bug out to, like I said, it's better to be too early than it is to be too late. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is if you think something is going on, or you think that SHTF event is here and you bug out, but it was a false alarm, look at that as a training exercise. Figure out what you did wrong, figure out what you did right. I would rather leave too early and have that practice run and then kind of go from there and learn from it, than to wait too long and now I can't bug out because roads are blocked. And because this is what's going to happen, guys. And this is why I think a lot of people think, they think these big hordes of people are going to come and do all this type of stuff. It's not going to happen like that. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen like that. You're going to have a lot of people dying of lead poisoning, okay? That is going to be a new reality in a post-event world. And so people are going to be a lot more careful. They're not just going to be going out there willy-nilly. People in the cities, guys, once they have cannibalized and destroyed their own cities, and if they try to come out to the country, I don't see them going more than 10 to 15 miles outside of where they're familiar with and then trying to go back there after, before this hordes of 100,000 people just going through cannibalizing everything through the countryside. It's not going to happen, because their numbers are going to be cut down at every freaking turn. Because as soon as you get away from suburbia and you get into the country, everybody's armed. And I don't care what state it is. California, New York, Illinois, those you're talking to places where it's got the strictest gun laws. But the more stricter laws are places like New York City, your Chicago, obviously. And look at the people getting killed in Chicago every day by guns. So you're not stopping it, okay? But it's like those people, once they get out into the country, they're not used to it. They don't know how to survive in it. They don't know what to do. They have no skill sets, okay? They're going to die. Dysentery is going to take out a lot of people. Cold, sickness, all those type of things. And then again, like I said, you're going to see a large number of people dying of lead poisoning. And let's say it's wintertime, forget about it. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. People are not going to get out there. They're not going to, be out pillaging and burning and raping. It's not going to happen, guys. The cities will be a nightmare. They will be a nightmare. Suburbia will be a nightmare. Anybody that can get out will get out, okay? Anybody that has a chance to have made an association with somebody, they're going to do that. They're going to get out of Dodge, and they're going to not be anywhere near, that kind of chaos. And I have talked about this before. My plan when SHTF happens is to hunker down and try to ride it out. And if somebody comes here with bad intentions, they will be dealt with extreme prejudice, okay? And that's how it's going to be handled. There's not going to, if somebody comes here with decent intentions, that's a whole different thing. Bonnie says, why lead poisoning? Because they'll be shot, Bonnie. They'll die. Most people will be dying by the gun in a post-event. And that's how, if people have bad intentions and they're looking to hurt people, people in the country are not going to deal with that. So that's why I say lead poisoning, because people are going to get shot and they're going to be killed. So that's why lead poisoning. It was a nice way of saying they're going to get shot. So, but you're welcome. No problem. I probably should be more clear what I say. I think, most people kind of know, but some people didn't. So that's okay. But yeah, that's going to be your number one killer in a post-event. Other than, and honestly, I think more people will die from drinking bad water, and they're going to get diarrhea, and they're going to die that way. I really think that's going to be a very big way that people are going to die. They're going to die of sickness. You're going to see people that, Hollow Point Wolfang said, yeah, dysentery is going to kill a lot of people. They're going to drink tainted water. They're going to get diarrhea. They're not going to be able to rehydrate. There's not going to be anybody there to take care of them, and they're going to die. And a lot of people are going to die like that. So think about that, and like I said, it's along with food poisoning from eating bad foods. You're right. And there's another thing, not cooking food long enough, hot lead injection. Exactly. But, having, like JJ just said, stock up on life straws. Again, a good thing to have, the life straws, your Berkey water filters, your Catadine water filters, purification tablets to use to purify water, bleach. Again, those are type of things. Pool shock is another good one to have. There's diversify your waters. Yep, filters. Absolutely. Angela just said that. Have several different ways to purify water. The more that you can have, the better situation you're going to be in. And so what if we just boil it? You're going to need to try to filter it as cleanly as you can first. And you're going to want some stuff. If you get a rolling boil, that's going to help. But if you can filter something, even through, like I've talked about before, with charcoal, sand, and stone, and do layers like that, and run that water through that, and then that's going to get rid of a lot of those pathogens. And then you bring that to a rolling boil, and boil for 3 to 5 minutes. That's going to kill like the rest of that. So but think about this: if you are dying of thirst and you come upon that water source, a lot of people are not going to take that time to purify that water. They're going to just jump in there and drink that water. And that's why a lot of people are going to get, sick, and they're going to die because of that. Stupidity, guys, realistically, and that sounds terrible to say, but stupidity is going to kill a lot of people in an SHTF situation. So just making bad decisions, doing stupid stuff that we've done forever, but there's nobody there now to set that break. You break your ankle, and now you're going to have gangrene and stuff set in, or, and those type of things. People are going to die from that type of stuff too. Like getting shot, you might not be killed by getting shot. You maybe got hit in the shoulder or the arm. Well, gangrene sets in, and guess what? You're done. So, again, having, stupidity is already running rampant, Regina just said. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And guys, if you haven't done it yet, if you could shoot me a thumbs up here, I would appreciate that. Let's just see how high we can get the number just for fun before we sign off here. But so if you haven't done it yet, I would appreciate that. Keep a heap of clean soda bottles, and you have plenty of reusable water for filter. Yeah, exactly. If having fresh water, guys, is going to be a great way to do things as well. So again, it's like there's so many options. There's so many things to plan for. But again, the two most important things. Well, actually, there's three that are the most important things. One is water. Two is food. Well, two is shelter, and then food. You got to have a shelter. So depending on what the elements are outside, to be able to survive 3 hours out in the elements, and you can be dead. Okay. So that's something, you can go 3 weeks without food, but food should be high on your list. It really should be. It's really, really important. Again, Water is going to be the most important thing. We have to have fresh drinking water, and those type of things as well. So anyway, guys, we are at that time. The hour went by really, really fast. It's been awesome again. Love having all you guys on here, and love chatting with everybody. It's absolutely awesome. So remember, guys, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Also remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important to make sure that we, tell everybody every day, okay? Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else can stop you, okay? So, guys, I will see you all on the next live stream, which will be Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But you'll see my video, obviously, tomorrow. But look for that next show is on Friday, okay? Hopefully you all can come. I hope everybody has a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.